Hello and welcome to our channel, Marstream, your public performance broadcast platform. Please make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. You can also donate to our tip jar and support the arts and artist of Marstream by clicking the link below in the description. Check out our website, themarsh.org, for all upcoming live performances. Now, enjoy the show.
Good evening, everybody, and it is a pleasure to be with you again. Hard to believe that a month has gone by, but it has since we were last with you with Michael Bahovsky. Tonight, well, some of you may not know, but we actually, ANCAN finds the talent for this show. And it's not the Marsh that does that. It falls on our shoulders. And we've got quite a good few shows for you in the future, but tonight we have a very unusual subject. And we're going to be looking into infertility. I'm not sure that's the right word to use for that, but we're going to be examining infertility from the standpoint of a professional artist for many, many years who has experienced infertility and IVF, and is going to be showing us through her art how she has dealt with that. And it's my pleasure to introduce tonight, all the way from Atlanta, with her power on, which it wasn't about 15 minutes ago, Shelby Hofer. Welcome, Shelby. Hello. You're muted as well. It's all right.
Okay. Can you hear me?
There you
now?
go.
Okay. The power is not back on. I have managed to find every light, battery light that I can find. And so
Oh my gosh, you lost your power again?
yeah, but I have my battery packs, and for whatever reason, our entire block went out. It's storming really bad here in Atlanta. So,
Oh,
but I
I'm
think
so sorry to
I
hear
have a
that.
backup plan. So,
Well, that happens to us a lot of times around here in deep southern Arizona, because it's monsoon season. And many is the time that I have been working something online and boom, I'm gone. But I don't hear any thunderstorms right now. So hopefully you and I are safe. Failing all, John Ivory in Chicago will take over. So, and John is a very assured performer, I can tell you. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where I've already mentioned you live in Atlanta. Is that where you're from? And well, how did you get to Atlanta? And just fill us in a little bit about yourself.
I am one of the rare Atlanta natives, born and bred. I've traveled quite a bit with my company. I have a theater company here in Atlanta, but so I have several homes away from home, but I always like coming back to the city in the forest.
I see. And I know that, happen to know, because I have done my research, that your theater company in Atlanta, or your arts company in Atlanta, which I believe you run with your life partner and your business partner, Tim Hayberger, is called Push Push.
Yes.
Right.
Push art.
Push Art. So I'm wondering whether you had fertility in mind when you came up with that title.
In a roundabout way, I guess you could say I did.
Oh, you did? Okay. Tell us more.
No, obviously there's some sexual references, maybe is a way to say it in the name. We wanted a name that had boundary pushing forward movement in it, but it actually came from I think it's a Herbie Mann album in the 70s.
Oh, right.
So, yeah.
Oh, that's.
But at the time I was just, I wasn't thinking about, well, I wasn't admitting that I was thinking about having babies at the time. So that's why I say they're indirectly related. The theater was my baby.
Yeah, so what we're going to see tonight has arisen out of your discovery that you needed to undergo infertility treatment. Is that right?
Correct.
I see. And
yeah, I didn't, you know, I just always assumed, hold on one second. You can turn the backup phone off now. The backup phone is in place, but I can hear myself in the next room.
okay.
I had always just assumed, you know, that I was going to be a mom and have babies, 1, 2, 3, have a lot of babies, but I waited until I waited, and I waited too long, and I waited too long to figure out why it wasn't happening. And when you have a career and you're trying to balance that with your, you know, desire to be a mother and satisfy that part of your life, sometimes the career, it feels like, you know, it takes over. So I had to move quickly to figure it out once I figured it out. So the time span of me not figuring it out was a long one, and then when I did figure it out, I had a no shit moment and just flew.
Well, we will definitely revisit this later in the show. And one of the other things that we're going to revisit later in the show is Shelby's tips for people that are facing infertility, which hopefully will prove very helpful to all of you. But in the meantime, we're going to open with the first video, which is how your stage show starts, I believe. And I just want to tell you, all of you at home, that you don't need to adjust your eyes when the clip starts. And let's roll it and see you later.
I just want to say, do you have something to say? Yeah, I just want to say. Do you have something to say? Yeah, do you have something to say? I want to say, do you have something to say? Yeah, I want to say GPS, PBS, PMS, ADD, DNA, quantum physics, and boners. Is that what you wanted to say? Yeah. That's what you wanted to say? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, no. But the truth is there's so much damn truth, and I got 40 stories inside my head, and I can't get any of them out, no. I can't get any of them out, no. So I'm going to start with what I know is true, which is that I am a bossy know-it-all, and I like to control everything. Big things, little things. I like to, yeah. I can't stop. I won't stop. I might stop. If you stop, it's a problem, but I don't think I need any help. Well, actually, maybe I could use some help. But careful how you try to give your help, because I will try to control your help. Someone said I'm wired this way because I have a reproductive system. Oh, she's mad. Yeah, she's mad. Yeah, I'm mad. But this little girl right here, and 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 this little girl right here. She's not me. She's not you. She's all of us. She's all things. They say God watches us through the eyes of little birds, but it's really through the eyes of little girls. And God watches us through the eyes of little girls. Ew, that's creepy. What? I'm playing. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. catch a little girl by her. I choose you. Okay, I'm not playing anymore.
So this is how High Risk Baby opens. Is this true?
Yes.
It does. And why don't you tell the audience a little bit about how High Risk Baby came about and where these ideas came from?
Well, I've been working on the play for almost 10 years, if I'm being honest. And I needed a way, as I was approaching 50, I needed a way. I had never told this story before. I had many, many close friends who never knew what, who didn't know anything about this. And I needed to pass it off to my son. I needed it to be his story. And I wanted to tell it with humor. I wanted to tell it in the way that I wanted to tell it so that I could pass it off to him. I had looked for books on Amazon about how he came about, and there was nothing that was really relevant. So I began writing this story about my 8-year-old self and what I thought sex and marriage and babies was going to be for me, and juxtapose that with my adult self and how it actually happened, the outrageous way that it really went down. And so it just became time for me to tell the story, and I made a promise with myself that I would have a version of it ready for a preview by the time I hit 50, and I did it. But I've been working on it pretty hardcore since 2017, and I wanted it to be a short show. I wanted it to be less than an hour and a half. I'm a fan of short theater, so editing is, as most writers know, is the hardest thing. So that, and then devising it to perform it myself in a non-linear way. I just didn't want to lay out the information. This is what happened, and this is what happened. I wanted it to be magical, and I wanted it to jump around, and for it to be a little difficult but fun to watch, and that's why the prologue starts the show, because it introduces all these ideas that are going to get explained in the longer piece.
Right, and we should explain to the audience that the video that we just saw is actually the video that actually starts the live show. The live show starts with video, correct?
Right, and we performed it outside against a 17-foot camper. It's actually moving inside now, and at the time we needed to do it outside, so we retired the camper, but the camper was the train. It served a bunch of different purposes, and we show the film on a rolling chalkboard, and then I appear behind the chalkboard with a suitcase live. So
now, if I'm not mistaken, this is not the first time that you use this concept of as you as a child or a younger person and your adult self.
right. I have a particular fascination with being able to drop into my child self and talk to, be able to stay in that place and really have a dialogue with the audience. And so that was important to me. I'm not a real fan of theater that reaches out and tries. I don't really want audience theater interaction personally. I don't really like it. So it's strange that I chose a piece that sort of heavily leans into that. But I crave sort of strange, weird, authentic interactions with people, and and I definitely like breaking the fourth wall and don't want to just perform. I want to be in dialogue with people, and so my 8-year-old self asks a lot of sometimes inappropriate questions that really need answering, and
Right.
so the audience has to choose whether or not they're going to answer the 8-year-old or the adult. But I make it really clear at the start of the show that I'm 8 and I'm also a grown-ass woman, so get ready for both of those.
Had you not written something as yourself as a teenager as well earlier on in your?
This character has this character of Lenora, the 8-year-old girl, has had another iteration early on in an experiential play that we did called See Through, where people walk through a house and try to figure out at a party, an adult party. The child is trying to figure out what's going on at an adult party, and ultimately they walk through the rooms and end up in her bedroom where she's grilling them about, what's been happening and why, and somebody had a fight and somebody's on their period, and she wants to know everything. So that's where the character was born, and that's sort of where I live in my daily life, is bouncing between that curious girl and.
I see. Well, maybe we should have Tim here as well to help us understand that a little bit better. What we're going to see now, if we've whetted the appetite of the audience enough, is a 14-minute compilation of an 80-minute show that Tracy has put together especially for us at the Marsh here tonight. And hopefully that will give us a really good taste until High Risk Baby comes local to you.
Yes.
Unexplained. Hey, what are you guys gonna be for Halloween? Oh, I'm gonna be a firefighter. I'm gonna be a vampire. I'm gonna be Oprah. Well, I'm gonna be pregnant. Oh, no, you can't be pregnant. You're a weirdo. Bye. You're only 8. Yeah, you dummy. That's your own heartbeat. We're out of here. Bye, weirdo. Yeah, I'm telling your mom you're in so much trouble. Bye, weirdo. You get back here. I am too pregnant. It's a real baby. I'm not in trouble. And it's my baby brother. I'm going to have my baby brother. Ring, ring. Hello?
It's Mom. That's not right, sweetie. We need to talk, because I think you might be misunderstanding what's happening here.
Shut up, Mom. I'm trying to make my baby brother. Woo!
Excuse me.
Woo!
I'm Dr. Mark, a friend of a friend, and unbeknownst to you, a reproductive specialist. I can help.
You're too early. Early. But thank you. Baby. He's in my belly, my baby brother. And when he comes out of my pee hole, I'm going to dress him up like a ballerina, make him kiss a telephone pole. And he's going to do it too, because I'll be the boss and he'll worship me. And I'll mother and smother him for the first 10 years and then pay for it for the next 20, just like a real mom. Yeah. And I love babies. I was a supercharged baby magnet. Okay, kids, these are boobies. They're not funny, they're for nursing. Everybody has them. Toss me that baby. Toss me that baby. All right, girls, drink up. You got 60 seconds. Oh, don't be scared. That just means it's time for PE. What's PE? Well, it's usually physical education, but today it's sex education taught by my PE teacher. What's sex education? I don't know. Let's find out. All right, girls, listen up. Everybody grab a basketball and sit on it. I got 60 seconds to explain this to you. Christ, why do I gotta teach sex ed? Nobody ever taught me this shit. I don't know why I gotta explain it to them. The thing goes in the thing, and it's supposed to be a fun thing. But the most important thing is that you pull out the thing, because you don't want to get pregnant, because that's not a good thing. So no matter what you do, for God's sake, don't get pregnant, 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 pregnant. Are you a girl? I'm a girl too.
I mean, I might be a boy. Sometimes I feel like a boy. Are you a boy? Do you not have a vagina?
That's too much.
What?
We'll stop.
Fine. I'm sure some of you folks also had the gross fascination experience of a book in your parents' room called The Joy of Sex, with a pencil-drawn hippie lady and hippie man lying totally naked and wasted on their backs, like they've been murdered, holding hands. That chapter was called Exhaustion, which I could not relate to at all, so I closed that weird book and never opened it again. And another thing, I don't even know if I want to be a wife. I wanted to learn how to yodel and be an aerialist. Are you even listening to me? Damn it!
Time's getting on. When's the Ukraine train?
Not yet. Nothing makes any sense. Hey, maybe this'll help. Mommy laid an egg. And it exploded, and you shot out. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go over some very confusing things in no particular order. What is a camel toe? Here's what I know now. Nothing! Secretly in secret, I thought about having a baby 99% of the time. Please! I'm a horrible decision maker. I feel like I spend all of my time at Home Depot trying to decide stuff. I feel like everybody's always judging me. And I am not a failure. Do you want to check our credit scores? No. But I do want some credit because I am going to attempt the impossible.
Train time!
You know when you don't know what you don't know, but then it's like everybody's been waiting on you to figure out what you don't know? Unexplained early ovarian failure!
It's me again, Dr. Mark. Can I finally speak? We need to have a talk, because you might be misunderstanding what's happening here. I'm going to tell you what you need to know, what you don't want to hear, and what you can do next. You ready? Your plumbing works, but your production has shut down. Meaning there's zero chance that you are having a child with your own eggs. Zero.
And yes, Dr. Mark's news was devastating, sure, but I kept strong. I hid my feelings from absolutely everyone. I didn't tell a soul. Why? Because it makes you generally bitchy for no apparent reason. I also blame Monsanto and corporate America and of course the patriarchy, but that's for a different story. It's the journey of letting go, of going with the flow. I need another woman's eggs. I need a plan.
Dr. Mark again, listen up. I've got a radical solution for you. I know this is a tough decision, but why don't you go on a baby-making adventure to one of the excellent clinics in Europe? I know it's a crazy idea, but it's 1/4 the cost. There are many wonderful clinics in Ireland, Australia, South America, Eastern Europe. In fact, the highest rated clinic, the one with the most success rates, is a 5-star clinic in Ukraine, of all places. It's in a beautiful city called Lviv, sometimes called Lvov, which is Ukrainian for live and love. Sounds like a sign to me, Lenora.
Come on. Okay. This train ride is going to be magical and frightening. It's going to be a Harry Potter type train through Poland, and it's going to always feel rickety and like it's going off the rails. And because of your mission Everything is going to seem strange and magical. Even the poop that you will take in the gross toilet, where you will have to wipe your butt with your own underwear because you also forgot your toilet paper. Even that will be magical.
Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukraine! Welcome, welcome, welcome to Intersona. A 5-star baby spa. Lemongrass and eucalyptus. Beautiful people, smiling faces. Your new girl had 19 eggs. That's a lot of eggs.
Yeah,
That's a lot of eggs.
That's a lot of eggs.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And live in love. Honey, we finally made it.
Honey is immediately whisked away.
Wait, where are you taking him?
Honey is gone for a minute. He does his part first. Take a breath. Let the Ukrainians take over. You can't control everything, and it's not all about you.
Yes, it is all about me.
Dear honey, I am the doctor. Your sperm is very good, very strong. I picked. Good job.
Well, she did good too. Planning the whole trip. It's not all about the sperm.
Yeah, you can go now.
Enjoy a dinner on us at the Pig Nut on Oblasty Street.
It was Paul Manafort's favorite.
And for the next 20 minutes, all I could hear was my young Ukrainian doctor saying, please, dear, you must relax your cervix. You need to relax your cervix. You must relax your cervix, dear. Okay, ladies. I don't know if any of you have ever actually tried to relax your cervix, but it is literally impossible. But he kept saying it, you must relax your cervix. Dear, you gotta relax your cervix. You must relax it. And I didn't want to not try. So, I'm gonna need everybody's help here. This is gonna be some straight up Tinkerbell shit. Now go with me. I'm gonna need everybody to try to relax their cervix. It worked. They're both in there. 2 tiny little specks. And suddenly, a whole new world opens up. Okay, everybody, close your eyes really super tight and imagine this with me. Imagine my blood pumping harder. Imagine it worked out for the German woman who took me to the gynecologist, though I heard that it did not. Imagine traveling with twins. Imagine the donor who was sitting in the same exact chair earlier. Imagine 2 embryos. And then imagine only 1. Imagine a mom seeing a grandbaby for the first time, the one she never thought she would see. And then imagine explaining to her instead that you are not having kids and how absolutely okay that would be. Imagine a young boy knocking on the door and me saying, hang on, I'm writing. I'll be out in 10 minutes. Imagine him asking hard questions and you knowing the answer. Imagine the science and the quantum physics of it all and how fortunate we are to be a part of it. Unexplained success. The first time my American gyno says that I'm high risk because of my age, I was like, I came here for first time birth guidance, not for you to confirm my superpower. I'm high risk, baby. It's a boy. If you're mad for more than 10 minutes, it's your own shit, your own shit. I'm gonna tell this boy some things to help him grow. You gotta make 1.5 million mistakes. You gotta stay curious every day. Look at all these weird people. And when you trip and fall, always make sure you say, I meant to do that. I meant to do that.
Mom,
Yeah, what is it, buddy? I'm writing.
I have a question.
Shoot.
Can I sleep in your room tonight?
Yeah, no. Maybe. We'll see. I don't know.
Oh yeah, Mom.
Yeah?
What's a camel toe? I heard it on TV.
Well, it is when the seam in the crotch of a woman's pants divides her labia. I think it's labia. I never actually knew if it was labia or labia, but it's like the outside of the vagina, which is actually the vulva, but it's when it makes it look like the toe of a camel. Yeah, I know that's weird, buddy. But men have them too. It's called a moose knuckle. The only difference, though.
Okay,
is
nope, got it, never mind. Oh, one more thing.
Yeah.
Are you my real mom?
I'm gonna tell this boy some things he needs to know.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And I hadn't seen that before because we were working on it till the last moment. And it kind of stole my question away from me because I wanted to ask you, if I could, about, first of all, at what point did you make the decision that you needed infertility treatment? Because that's going to be a huge leap when you finally say to yourself and your husband, we can't do this together. We're gonna move on. I mean, was it the point when Dr. Mark said to you, you're not making eggs? Or was it before that?
The catalyst was a phone call that I got from my brother, my little brother, telling me that they were pregnant and he was going to have a baby. And I just went, oh, hell no. Because I'm 7 years older than him. And then a flood of I've been thinking about this and I'm not telling anyone and I'm not willing to go to the doctor. Just, it all came. And I think the next morning I made an appointment. And then it took, about 6 weeks to find out. And then I say this in the play, I spent about 72 hours in a funk. And then I had the creative juices starting to flow. And I called and said, okay, what can I do? I want a baby in my belly. How can I'm willing to forego it if it doesn't happen, but that's what I want. And he told me about a couple of success stories, and we're theater people. We didn't have any money, we don't we don't have $20,000 to drop,
Right.
And I chose the clinic that happened to be the cheapest, but it was also a train ride away from where we were already in Berlin, and I could kind of keep it a secret and couch it as a theater expedition in Ukraine, which is what I did. And then I just got really lucky. We went and I had a big drama. I chose to, once I found out, I just chose to make that plan and go and try. And there's a big part in the play about how I have a freak out. They were willing to put in. I had 6 embryos, and they were willing to put in all 6.
Oh my gosh.
But I didn't. And then when I said I just want one, I just want to do one, she frowned at me and she said, the nurse, and she was like, you don't want to do more? So you come all this way. Many people do 3 or 4. And I just had decisions is a big thing, and being in control is a big thing in the play. And I could not decide. It took a really long time. Well, it took, the next 24 hours for me to. So finally I decided on 2, and I came home and eventually gave birth to 1. But it was a short time from the moment I was 38 and I was 36. And so from the moment that I found out, I was on a train, literally and figuratively.
And what was Tim's role in all of this? Because we always forget that there's if you're doing this as a couple, there's another half as
I
well.
talked to him a lot. He's a director, and you know, we kind of decided that he wouldn't direct this. That I would find a female director and kind of take this journey on my own. He's he's the invisible honey in the background that I'm always referring to,
Okay.
and so he's in there, but he could you know, it was a specific story from my POV that I needed to tell, so I couldn't, you know, and he enjoys watching it and seeing, knowing that he was there with me the whole time, and he remembered details that he'd forgotten when he finally saw the show. And so you know, obviously his role was a big one.
And was he totally supportive of everything you wanted to do when you went through this infertility journey, or were there differences there?
Yeah, he was very supportive. He had a child from a previous marriage, a daughter who I'm very good friends with, and we laugh about the story all the time. But he, you know, he probably could have gone either way, but he knew that I was pretty headstrong about it. And so he likes to travel and go on adventures too. So he was willing to just let me kind of go, this is what I'm going to do, and you're going with me, and you're going to do your part, and that's how it's going to go. So, and we're really fortunate. I was prepared to not have a child. You know, I was really getting my mind ready for what life was going to be like for us without that added piece. So that's why it was important for me to put that in the play, that, you know, imagine all these things and the way they can go, and you just have to keep going. And you know, I like to say, get in bed with your bottom lines, so you get real comfortable with how the worst case scenario, and then it frees you up to just kind of walk forward with intention.
It's interesting for us at ANCAN right now, because we have a woman that we're supporting in our caregivers group, whose husband has a difficult stage 4 cancer diagnosis, and she's carrying 2 IVF twins right now, which is just wonderful. I don't know if she's watching tonight, but if she is, I want to give her a big shout out, because we love her. So we've encountered a little bit of this infertility even through the work we're doing it at ANCAN. So how old is your son now?
He is 13.
13. And you close the show with a song that's a tribute to your son, right?
Yeah, it's a little yes, definitely, it's a little love letter to him, and but it's more about yeah, I had like 80 different lyrics, and we had to pare it down to the ones that are in the song, but just little pieces of advice that I've been collecting that I really wanted to say to him. And I kind of, they're really, you know, to me in a way, but it's definitely a song to him.
Well, let's hear that song, because it closes the show, and it's not going to close our show, but it's going to be the last video clip that we see. So here we go.
I'm gonna tell this boy some things he needs to know. I'm gonna tell this boy some things I know he also needs to know. Like jokes are awesome, especially if they're offensive. But be careful, people are sensitive. I'm gonna tell this boy some things he needs to know. I'm gonna tell this boy some things I think he really needs to know. Like, if you're mad for more than 10 minutes, it's your own shit, your own shit. Don't ever sell your soul. And never ever tell a woman to just relax, 'cause it won't work. You gotta make 1.5 million mistakes. You gotta stay curious every day. And when you trip and fall, always make sure you say, I meant to do that. I meant to do that. I guess you're lucky you're not on the spectrum like your mom and dad. But if you were, you'd still turn out great like your mom and dad. So turn to the left, turn to the right. Right means left and left means right, yeah. So turn to the light, the sun, the vitamin DNA. Hey, are you feeling any better? Yeah, I think so. There's just too many people to control and too many decisions to make, so I think I'm just gonna sing and dance for a while. Oh, cool, me too. You wanna hear my song? Sure. Okay, it goes like this. You gotta make 1.5 million mistakes. You gotta stay curious every day. And when you trip and fall, always make sure you say, I meant to do that. I'm gonna tell this boy. I'm gonna tell this boy some things. I'm gonna tell this boy too much. I'm gonna tell this boy some things he needs to know.
So how did your teenage son feel about being part of this work and having a song written about him?
And a whole play. He just turned into a teenager last month, so and he's been hearing about it. I didn't want him to see it until it was finished, so he's been hearing about it a lot. I've been talking openly, and he's known roughly the story for a long time. But it's really funny when I had all this hype about him seeing it. He came with my mom, who'd not seen it yet, and actually Tim hadn't seen the full thing yet. So they all came together, and I was really nervous. But after it was over with, and he's, he really, how they are at that age. There's everything borders on, and it's basically embarrassing. Everything your mother's doing is like, but he's an old soul, and he's pretty cool. So he came up to me right after everybody was, hugging me and said, Mom. I said, yeah, buddy, eager to hear what he had to say. And he said, look at this Rubik's Cube that Kate gave me. It's shiny and it turns any way. So he went off about the Rubik's Cube. And I was like, you know what? That's great. It's fine. It's too much. Like one day he'll look back and it'll be a treasure. I'm trying to talk softly because he's in the next room. It's like it's his crazy mother right now. So, but it's a story that will have value for him. I don't do scrapbooks or anything like that. So it's going to come in handy one day.
And I think everybody who's watching, if they're anything like me, is very eager to learn how you answered that question that he asked you in the show.
Well, that's an interesting piece right there. He never asked me that. Well, I don't know if it's obvious, but he never asked me that question.
Okay.
That is, and the ending was really hard. And the way we came up with the ending was, my director said, look, there's something missing here. You've got to say the piece that you're afraid of. What are you afraid of? What's driving this? And I said, I'm afraid one day he's going to go, are you my real mother? And when I said it, she was like, that's it. That's how we have to end it, because it's about your fear, not about anything. It's the reality. Of course, it's irrational, but it was where I was living with 10 years of not telling anybody and feeling, the shame that comes with feeling like you're a failure and, like you've done something wrong when all of your life you have assumed that it's going to go one way, and it absolutely does not go that way, but it went a better way. In the middle of the trip to Ukraine, we read the tickets wrong and we missed our train. And I had a picture of the donor. You get to choose. I had egg donors, and you get to choose baby pictures and medical records. And I chose one. I had her in my pocket for like 7 months, and the tickets were in German. And when I have a little bit of dyslexia, so when I had, well, and also it's in another language. So when I read the ticket wrong, and it left at 10 a.m. that morning, and thinking we were on a 10 o'clock train, I burst into tears and I called the doctor in the Ukraine. There was all these translation issues, and she said, it's going to be fine. This happens. We're the #1 clinic for a reason, but if you want fresh eggs, you're going to have to choose another girl. And I was like, are
Oh
you
my gosh.
kidding me?
Oh,
And so, and finally I just went, okay, fine, screw it. I can't make any more, just whatever, you know? And so it's the journey of letting go.
and it came out just fine, right?
It came out fine.
Oh my gosh. I know a little bit about traveling around trains in that area. I spent a whole year in Romania traveling all around. I'm pretty close at times, pretty close to Lvov, so I know what it's like traveling around on those trains.
Right. Well, when you're on a mission, if you're on an adventure and you like getting lost and having fun and figuring out
I know.
if you've got, embryos, or if you've got eggs, aspirated eggs waiting on you, that may
Yeah,
fail.
pressure. So
Pressure on.
you told us earlier on that there were a lot of people involved in making this production. It's a one-woman show. How many people did you have contribute to this?
12 roughly, but along the way, probably closer to 20. Once I started, so in 2018, I did a first presentation of it, and that was kind of my way of telling people telling people the story and letting it out. And then after that, I began to ask people to collaborate with me. There were a series of banners, of art, of prayer flags, banners, whatever you call them, draped across the trailer. And that was a piece commissioned by my friend Rob Nixon. And I gave him lines from the play, and he had a paper doll collection. And I said, do some of your photography art with these paper dolls with lines from the play. And so little things like that. But once it was out and I was able to tell people, they were eager to help because they kind of felt the oomph of the story. And so it wasn't very hard. But I collaborate with artists all the time and through the theater, and we're usually, supporting other artists in their original work. So this was the first time I'd really done anything quite like this on full on me. So it was a lot of work for the last 20 years had paid off in terms of finding people to collaborate with.
Well, here at ANCAN, we have a particular interest in one of your collaborators, as you know, because people might be wondering. What's that?
I said a big collaborator.
Big collaborator, because people may be wondering, well, how on earth does ANCAN come to dealing with infertility? And if you have a creative mind, it's because your IVF doctor, Dr. Mark, attends one of our groups and knew we were looking for folks to guest on this show, and said, I have the perfect person for you. He was right, of course. We're very curious, all of us at ANCAN, how Dr. Mark transformed into Elvis.
Well, in the play, Elvis and Elvira start out as my parents, and they have these bubble texts that flop over and say, will you talk to her, please? No, you talk to her. You're the man. No, that didn't make any sense. And they, and then eventually they turn into doctors. And it just made a lot of sense as I was writing the play. And I don't think I told Mark, or Dr. Mark, as he's known in the play, until well in. I said, I just want to let you know I'm writing a play, and you're a main character, and you're going to be played by Elvis. And at the time, he was played by other puppets too. He was all over the place, but we kind of narrowed it down to Elvis. But yeah, it was just a real no-brainer. He was such a force he was the one that, you know, helped me helped me know the bad news and then figure out where to go next. And so there was no way he was not going to be portrayed. But, you know, I wanted objects to talk like Pee Wee Herman, you know, had on his playhouse.
Yeah.
So when Elvis and Elvira, when we finally unfolded them and stood them up, it became clear that Dr. Mark was going to get a role with Elvis.
Okay, well, we'll be returning to Elvis in a couple of months in our Solo Arts Heal show. So if you're watching, come back in a couple of months. You need to tune in a couple of months because we have another Elvis connection. But I really do want to ask you the question I mentioned at the beginning. If we have people watching who are in infertility treatment or thinking about infertility treatment, what pearls of wisdom can you give them?
You know, for me, it's kind of a metaphor for everything and life in general, and not just for infertility, for anything that you're trying to heal from. But, you know, I just had to get real close to the word, like I said before, what the worst case scenario was, and really just sort of touch that wound and be okay with the outcomes. And that freed me up to take some risks and try some things. And so it's part of it is that just willing to whatever you can do to get yourself able to walk forward, keep walking forward, and not, you know, get in a slump. But the other thing is just like, you know, there are all kinds of ways to make a family. And even though I still feel that little twinge of, you know, it wasn't my DNA, it totally was. You know, so to me, it's silly now. Like, these are just sort of ego-based things that we feel. So my husband has found through 23andMe an entire family that he never knew for, you know, his 60 years that existed, and they're much closer to the family he probably should have had. And so, you know, there's all kinds of ways to
They don't come from Ukraine, do they, by any chance?
No. Actually, one of them her mother did come from Ukraine, so it's a full circle.
There you go. There you go.
It's a wild world, and there are all kinds of creative ways to make things go the way you want. And if you're okay with them not going the way you want, then, you know, creativity can ensue.
So perhaps the takeaway is that you have to look at these issues in a creative way, and your mind has to be plastic enough to accept whatever solution comes to you.
Yeah, and not everybody has a creative. I mean, I feel like everybody has a creative outlet. Everybody, if they're able to get in touch with the ways in which their mind can sort of wander and drift and be free, and do those. You know, for some people it's sewing, for other people it's walking. You know, just tap into that, and then yeah, if you can get the creative juices flowing, there are all kinds of ways for your healing to manifest through creativity, not just the arts necessarily.
So I'm going to spring something on you at the very end here, because I did a little reading and I saw that you had to learn to yodel from your ladies' parts. Isn't it? Is it? Am I imagining this, or was that something you said?
Yeah.
And we would like you to yodel. To finish this show, we would love for you to yodel from your ladies' parts. Would you be willing to do that? You're an actress. Come on, whatever comes your way, would you be willing to yodel from your ladies' parts?
No.
Okay, I thought I had to ask though.
No, it's in the show. When the full version of the show comes online, you can see it there.
Okay, so talking about that, tell us what the plans are for the show.
So I have several pop-up performances that will happen in the fall here in Atlanta, and with other venues and other theaters. And then in 22, depending on how things go in the world, I'll be touring I've gotten accepted to a couple of festivals, and because it's an 80-minute show for tours, it has to get down to 60 minutes. And, one of the collaborators was a puppeteer, as you could see, and she's also going through IVF, and she may have, she may be pregnant, so I may have to figure out how to do it without the puppeteer, but we're close to that. So I'll be packing all those dolls and props and toys up into 2 suitcases and traveling with the show next year.
And where might we expect to see this show for those of us who live across the country?
Yeah, so we're planning on bringing it to the Comedy Central stage. That's where this character actually started. I was invited to do a 15-minute excerpt of the Jenny Rose question show, and Jenny Rose turned into Lenora. And that was about 8 years ago. And so we'll be bringing the whole show back. Downtown LA.
Wow.
And then for the Tucson festival, Fringe Festival too.
For the Tucson Fringe Festival?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, I will be there because I live 40 miles south of downtown Tucson.
Oh, very nice.
I can be in downtown Tucson in 40 minutes from here and literally. So I want to know when you're at the Fringe Festival and where you are. We'll recruit some people to come. Oh, I can't wait to meet you in person. Oh my gosh.
Very cool.
Fantastic. That's really cool. Anyway, we have to, it's the witching hour. We have to disappear. I have to tell everybody not to forget the tip box for the marsh, because the marsh is kind of very similar to Push Push, I'm sure. I'm sure that the way they function is the way that you function, and we're so grateful for them for hosting this. I have to tell everybody that next month, we're going to welcome Daniel Garza, who I've known for 2 or 3 years through Janssen's Healthy Voices Conference, who is an advocate for cancer and an HIV advocate and more, and he's also a stand-up comedian. So he's going to be here. You are too, as well. I forgot about that. You do some stand-up comedy. And I think that's all I've got to say. It's time to hand it back to Brianna to close us out.
Okay.
Thank you. Oh, I forgot. There is one other thing. Thank you very much. Thank you for working with us.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Rick. Thank you, Shelby, and thank you everyone for joining us tonight. Please check out our website for more information on our upcoming shows for the rest of this week and next month. And don't forget to donate to our tip jar, and we hope to see you next time. Have a good evening.